Going on a date with someone that you met while you were drinking is, I imagine what it's like to go on a blind date set up by yourself, because I feel like when I'm drinking, my interests and stuff like that, they don't quite line up with my sober self.
Stop it. Get some help.
I was so wet, oh my god, pussy throbbing. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Blows my mind that somebody like this not only exists, but also is delusional enough to post it online.
Now when you're young and dating, you're not really thinking about long-term stuff, and that's okay. I know a lot of women like to go for the bad boys, and they'll settle for barely a text back and the bare minimum. The standard for dudes is getting so much lower when your standard needs to be getting so much higher. And I know that when you're young and you're dating, you're not really thinking about the long-term implications of if you do build a future with that person. So let me save you a lot of heartache and give you some wisdom that can save you.
Guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing simps, gentlemen, which are equally as destructive to society, to manhood, as toxic women. So let's get started with this one right here. We'll hear her story again and let's comment on it, gentlemen.
All right, ladies, if you are single, dating, in a relationship, we need to have a girl chat. I really need you to listen up. This wisdom is gold. Now when you're young and dating, you're not really thinking about long-term stuff, and that's okay. I know a lot of women like to go for the bad boys, and they'll settle for barely a text back and the bare minimum. The standard for dudes is getting so much lower when your standard needs to be getting so much higher. And I know that when you're young and you're dating, you're not really thinking about the long-term implications of if you do build a future with that person. So let me save you a lot of heartache and give you some wisdom that can save you. I met my now husband when I was 21 years old. He was one of the nicest, most persistent men I had ever met in my life. I never had to question if he was interested in me, if he wanted me, if he loved me. He was willing to do literally whatever it took to make sure that I was happy and that he held on to me. Meanwhile, I was seeing so many of my college friends settle for the absolute bare minimum from these guys.
Guys, we're going to pause it right here before she continues. I'm going to back the video a little so you can read that here. Now, first off, when women say that they settle for the bare minimum, they're not settling for the bare minimum. They are literally chasing what they want. You know, when women say, you know, I took in Chad, I gave him a chance, you know, I gave myself to Chad and I settled for the bare minimum, it's not the bare minimum. This is what a lot of women actively chase, right? The bare minimum for a lot of modern women is a guy who has principles and morals and plans for the future, right? That is the bare minimum, because those are the guys that are last on the list of, you know, possible date options. So with that out of the way, this woman, when we usually hear the words, he was really nice, he really put time into me, he was, you know, just really good with me, willing to give everything to me, I always expect, and I started this video expecting the same as well, that she was going to mess around with all the chads and forget about that guy, because women just, guys, they, in most of the cases, they're attracted to toxicity. Let's be honest with each other, right? But when you show a woman that you will give your life for her, she just, you know, puts you in the pile of other men that will do that for her, and goes for that bad boy that wouldn't. But anyway, this woman is an exception, apparently, presumably, right? And she chose to marry that guy. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt that she did it immediately and she didn't hook around for a few months before doing that. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I trust her, you know? So she's a rare exception that actually values men for things that are worthy of valuing, like this commitment that he shows. So let's continue and let's see what happens with that.
Bare minimum from these guys because they were like bad boys and they were fun, they were exciting, whatever. Well, I ended up marrying that nice guy. We've been together for 9 years, and this man has the same quality character traits that he had then, even more developed now as a 30-year-old man. Let me give you a perfect example. He's on a work trip. He was just in a work meeting, texted me, hey, have you eaten lunch yet? I get pretty wrapped up in my work day and didn't think about it. I go to the front door, he has a sandwich delivered for me. to make sure that I'm fed. My mom was feeling super burnt out the other day and wanted to go for a walk and realized that her sneakers had a hole in one of them. What did he do? He went online and he ordered her a pair of sneakers. My little sister had a long day at work. He texted her an encouraging text message to try and pick her up. If something needs to be done around the house, he's the first one to do it. This man showed me when he was 21 years old that he had these characteristics. And now I'm with such a gem of a human being, and I am so thankful that I didn't settle for any of the bad boys that were worth a chase back in the day.
Now guys, it's really strange for me to comment on these videos because usually we have the absolute opposite, the polar opposite of that, which is women having so many gems, as she mentioned, so many men willing to provide for her and do so many things for them, and they just don't give them the time of day. They just don't care, right? And of course, this story could be made up. Maybe this is a dating coach or something and she's trying to tell a story. Maybe she's lying. Maybe she's been through the hookups before she, you know, got to him. Maybe she likes him just because he's a walking ATM. I don't know, but you know, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say that people on TikTok never lie, all right? No, I'm kidding, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt, right? Now, let's just make a comparison between this woman right here and the rest of her female friends that, as she mentioned, were chasing the bad boys. This woman right now is married to a man who, you see how, you know, he treats her like a queen. And she says that she's grateful for it. Meanwhile, all her besties and the baddies and, you know, her friends, Betty and the rest, I bet that they are still chasing the bad boys, right? They still, the universe still hasn't granted them that person. God's plan hasn't come yet to fruition, so they are still single. And it just really shows the type of lives that women reach depending on their choices when they are younger. You know, always, the past is a clear sign of what will come in the future. So what's the difference between this woman and the rest? Because all of them have the same, let's say, gem options, right? Every woman always has that one guy, at least one, who wants to be a provider, who wants to buy her lunch, who wants to take care even of her mother, of her sister, the whole family, you know, is on his shoulders. All women have that one guy that wants to do that, right? The difference is that in a healthy relationship, this woman gives back, you know? So this woman will give him something in return, like being pleasant to be around, being supportive, being, you know, just a good wife, a good mother. Maybe they have children, you know? Just giving back and appreciating and being grateful for what the guy does. The difference with the other group of women, you know, who are addicted to toxicity, is that they would never appreciate that behavior, you know, in the first place. They don't appreciate it. They would much rather appreciate Chad giving them 10 minutes of his day than all of those things that this guy does for this woman. You know what I mean, guys? And then second of course, the toxic woman will never give anything in return. Like, they will take your money, they will take your time and your validation, but they will never give anything in return. Not gratitude, not a pleasant behavior. In fact, they would most probably cheat on you. Here's the thing, guys. Toxic women, they know that they're toxic, even if it's subconsciously, which in most of the cases it is. And because they know that they're not worth the time, when a man actually provides for them, they lose respect for him. Why? Because he doesn't respect himself enough to leave them, to not be with them, to be with a better woman. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Like, the reason why they will cheat on a man who is actually good to them and providing is that they don't respect him, because he doesn't respect himself enough in order to not be with such a woman. But let's continue.
Because now I'm with somebody that treats me like a motherfucking queen, and you deserve the exact same thing. So if you are settling for the bare minimum right now, if you are seeing characteristics in a person that you're interested, chasing, dating, in a relationship with, whatever, that you don't want long term, get rid of them. There's still great men in this world, and you deserve to have one of them. It is better to be on your own, happy, and know your worth, than to be with somebody that makes you question your worth.
Now, we lost some points by mentioning the words worth and deserve, but anyways, guys, the that the problem is not that there are not enough good men out there. I agree that good men are less than they were before, a century back, let's say. But women do not really have the problem of there not being enough good guys, you know what I mean? This is a problem that men have. There are not enough good women out there for all the men that are traditional and one traditional woman. That is my take. Women don't have that problem. Never. First off, because women who actually value good guys are less than the number of good guys as mentioned. So even if, I've always mentioned this, guys, even if you give a woman the perfect husband, if she is addicted to anxiety and she has a high body count, she'll never make that relationship work. She'll never appreciate him. She will never be grateful. She will never respect him. She will never understand how important he is for her because she wants the toxicity. So again, just women are not having this problem. If you're a woman over 30 and you're single, that's 99.9% probably on you.
Yo, we need to talk. My man said the most profound thing ever to me. And I just want to tell you, they're out there. These conscious, like divine, healed, masculine energy, baby, it's out there. Let me tell you, my man and I were laying in bed and he got triggered by something because we had like 2 years where we were separated and we found our way back to each other. He got triggered by something we were talking about our time in separation when I was with someone else and he was with other people. He like openly acknowledged, like, no, this is just something within me. I just got to work in it within myself. It has nothing to do with you. Like, it's okay. We're fine. I just, like, this is bringing something up in me. I just got to work through it. First of all, that's so odd. That is so, please, ovaries. So then I was like, okay, awesome. Like, that felt good because the amount of unconscious men I've been with is just, so I was like, this is awesome. But then he got a little quiet and I was like, ooh, I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. That's a little uncomfy. So I started to try to like talk about the problem. I was like, okay, well, why don't we talk about it? Like, what's going on? Like, can you tell me what the problem is? Like, what's triggering you? And normally, you know, I totally thought I was just coming from like a really good place of like being concerned. And I was at first, but then it took it too far when he was like, no, it's okay. Like, I actually don't want to bring it to you yet until I figured more of it out. Like, I want to give myself the ability to process myself. So you're saying it's not my responsibility to be your healer and help you figure it out? My ring size is 7, please. So anyway, so he's a little quiet. I'm still uncomfortable, so I'm still pushing. I'm still like, baby, we should just talk about it. We're supposed to talk about it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it here, gentlemen, because now here's the thing. What they did was break off a relationship, spend 2 years banging other people, and then get back, which is, of course, a terrible, terrible mistake. I don't know why people do this, guys. I could understand being in a marriage, getting separated, not divorced, separated, and then, you know, coming back together. Like, let's try and make it work again, you know? I understand that, absolutely. But, you know, breaking a relationship, then getting back to it, I don't know, guys. I just don't feel that ends well in like 95% of the cases. If you've come to a point where you've decided to break off a relationship, why would you ever go back to it? I don't understand that. There's probably a huge red flag that was the reason why you left that relationship, and now you're going back, and after you've spent 2 years dating around, like, this woman easily has increased her body count by 100 in those 2 years, maybe even more. Like, absolutely not kidding, gentlemen. And of course, this is why the guy has a problem, right? He is uncomfortable to tell it. He doesn't want to because it's been pushed that is somehow toxic. But he has a problem thinking about how his now woman, his girlfriend, has been passed around like a toy in between 40 men, you know, in that period. He feels disgusted by it. He doesn't like it because men naturally, biologically, psychologically, instinctively, we don't like it when our partners have been passed around or have a high body count. And that goes for women as well, but it's more for men. You know, men just don't like it. And he doesn't like it, but he doesn't know how to say it, right? And she also recognizes that. She feels that the situation is awkward because she understands what's going on, and she's trying to push him, you know, she's trying to make him tell her the problem so she can face it, or she's trying to manipulate him in order to just shut up about it and never speak about it again. This is why she says, oh, it's so hot that I don't have to deal you know, with his problems. He'll figure out by himself, because she doesn't want to have any of the accountability of him, or excuse me, of him saying to her, damn, what a 304 behavior, you know, actually, now that you have such a high body count, I don't want to deal with you. And guys, here I'll say, just stand your ground, okay? If you don't like a woman with a high body count, just say it. And of course, someone will say, Hiran, why don't you in the first place don't date them? Because there are a lot of guys who start dating a woman. Like, I read a comment on last video of a guy mentioning that he dated a woman who said that she had a body count of 4, and like in a few weeks time, you know, he learned more and more and more, and finally he realized that she's been with like 15 dudes. So that's the case in a lot of the situations. And if you don't feel okay with that, if you don't like it, which is natural, stand your ground. Don't allow them to manipulate you with this bullcrap of, it's toxic to care about the past, it's toxic to think about past decisions. Now let's continue.
And he goes, you know what? I just realized something, and I just want to like bring it up, because I realized that a lot of our issues the first time when we were dating, which was my last year of college and then my first year into like post-grad. So I was young. I was like 21 basically. He was like, when we used to get in conflict, you would do this. You would like try to talk about it with me when I just needed a process. He's very Libra. He needs a lot of time to process.
That explains everything.
I just needed a process, and you would try to solve it because you were uncomfortable in the discomfort. Instead of just learning to let me figure it out, you would try to do that, and it would just put a Band-Aid on it. So it never solved the problem. And because it never solved the problem, that's why your issues kept coming up, because you never even gave me the opportunity to solve it myself. I was so wet. Oh my God. Pussy throbbing. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, ding, 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 ding. Sir, you are correct. You are one.
Guys, I just imagine this is your daughter, right? Sorry for the, you know, disturbing picture, but this is someone's daughter. She's talking to the whole internet about her intimate parts and their current state. Disgusting. But guys, you know what? This story could be made up. Absolutely. I know guys who are simps, and maybe they will do the behavior that this man is supposedly doing, but I've never met a man that thinks, you know, in this way, that has this line of thinking. So this story could be absolutely made up by her. The things that she is saying that the guy mentioned or thought about or talked about, they don't follow the line of what men usually think. But tell me, what do you think?
1000% correct. I did not realize I was doing that, but you are right, because that's how I feel right now. I feel very uncomfortable in your silence and in your distance, and I'm just trying to solve the problem. But you're right. That's literally why our issues kept coming up. And I realized toddlers do not learn motor skills from watching an adult show them how to build motor skills. They build motor skills from literally getting their hands on it and doing it themselves. Okay, so I was trying to stop him from experiencing things because of my own discomfort. Floored. I was floored. Best conversation of my entire life, and that was the moment. I mean, there were many, many moments. I've always known this about him, but I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. I'm going to have your children. This is not negotiable at this point, because that was hot. That was real hot.
Going on a date with someone that you met while you were drinking is, I imagine what it's like to go on a blind date set up by yourself, because I feel like when I'm drinking, my interests and stuff like that, they don't quite line up with my sober self. So I have no idea, like I have a very vague recollection of who this man is. It could go really well. Maybe I was really looking after myself. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Guys, it was the other day that I was talking about it, about the fact that women don't like to go to a guy's house on the first date because, quote unquote, safety first. That's what they always say. Now, that's not the real reason, alright? They're not worried about their safety. They just don't like to get banged without the guy first having to pay at least one free meal. Like, you know, at least pay me the free meal and then I'll spread my legs. Like a streetwalker, it's transactional. And they always mention that it's a problem because of safety. Yet we have this woman here, just one of many, who doesn't think that it's dangerous to, you know, date people while you are intoxicated and arrange plans with them and sleep with them. Like, there are so many women who make TikToks talking about, I got intoxicated and I slept with a guy, I don't even remember his name, and they probably have a lot of unprotected intercourse as well. That's not dangerous, alright? That is not dangerous. That is being empowered and liberated and a bad boss babe. But the moment a guy wants to just smash without having to put too much effort, then we get to safety first. But anyway, gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. Leave me your comments down below and I'll be happy to see you next time. Have a good one.